When erasing sound makes it more powerful, how K-pop engineers silence. Let me ask you a question. What is the most powerful moment in music? When the vocalist hits the highest note? When the beat drops? No. It is when sound completely disappears. Listen to New Jeans' Attention. At 1 minute 23 seconds, all instruments suddenly stop. For 0.8 seconds. Then it explodes again. That brief silence dominates the entire track. Today we will deconstruct how K-pop weaponized silence, and why this strategy works on global charts. Act 1: The Psychoacoustics of Silence. Part 1: Tension created by sound absence. In music psychology, there is a concept called expectation violation. Our brains predict patterns, and when those patterns break, dopamine is released. In music, silence is the most powerful pattern violation. Let me show you a research case. In 2019, the UCLA Music Cognition Lab played various genre tracks to subjects while measuring brain waves. The result: brain activity spiked most dramatically not at climactic moments, but during sudden silences, lasting 0.5 to 2 seconds. Why does this happen? Our auditory system constantly predicts what sound comes next. When 44 rhythm continues for 8 bars, the brain automatically expects the 9th bar. If silence appears instead, the prediction system malfunctions momentarily. This creates cognitive tension. K-pop producers understood this instinctively before neuroscience proved it. Part 2: Silence versus Rest. We need to distinguish between silence and musical rest. Rest is breathing space within musical structure. Classical music rests for phrasing. Jazz rests for swing feel creation. But K-pop silence is different. It is design tension. Strategic emptiness. Listen to aespa's Next Level. At 2 minutes 41 seconds, after Karina's rap, a 1.2 second complete silence appears. No reverb tail, no ambient sound, pure digital silence. This is only possible in the post-production digital era. In analog recording days, complete silence was nearly impossible. Tape hiss, room tone, something always remained. K-pop producers used DAW capabilities to create mathematically precise silence. This is sound design, not musical expression. Act 2: K-pop strategic silence patterns. Pattern 1: Pre-chorus blackout. The most common K-pop silence pattern appears right before the chorus. Blackpink's How You Like That is a textbook example. At 49 seconds, right before the chorus drop, 0.6 seconds of silence. This amplifies the subsequent 808 bass impact by approximately 40% in perceived loudness. This is called contrast effect in psychoacoustics. The same stimulus feels stronger depending on what precedes it. Silence makes the following sound feel louder and more powerful, without actually increasing decibels. Why does this matter? Streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple Music use loudness normalization. All tracks are adjusted to the same average volume. In this environment, you cannot win through volume alone. You need perceptual loudness. Silence is the loophole. It does not increase average loudness but maximizes momentary impact. Pattern 2: Vocal isolation moment. Another signature K-pop silence technique is complete instrumental dropout, leaving only vocal. New Jeans' Ditto demonstrates this perfectly. At 1 minute 8 seconds, all beats and synths vanish. Only Hani's vocal remains for 2.4 seconds. Then everything returns. This technique has two effects. First, it showcases vocal ability. In the age of heavy autotune criticism, these moments prove real singing skill. Second, it creates intimacy. When all production layers disappear, listeners feel closer to the artist. It is like a stadium concert suddenly becoming a bedroom confession. This connects to parasocial relationship theory in media studies. K-pop is not just music, it is relationship design. Silence creates moments of false intimacy. Pattern 3: Rhythm displacement through silence. The most advanced K-pop silence technique is rhythm disruption. Listen to Stray Kids' God's Menu. At multiple points, silence appears on the downbeat, where the kick drum should hit. This creates rhythmic disorientation. Why does this work globally? Most Western pop follows predictable 44 patterns. Downbeats are sacred, but K-pop producers, influenced by experimental, electronic music and trap, treat rhythm as malleable. For global listeners unfamiliar with these techniques, this creates novelty. And in the attention economy, novelty is currency. Act 3: Cultural context. Eastern philosophy of sound. Why are Korean producers particularly skilled at using silence? The answer lies in traditional Korean music philosophy. In Korean traditional music theory, there is a concept called yeobik, meaning the beauty of empty space. This comes from East Asian painting philosophy, where empty space is not absence but active presence. Western music philosophy, rooted in Aristotelian thought, sees silence as the absence of sound. Eastern philosophy sees silence as another form of sound. This philosophical difference manifests in production approaches. Compare Western EDM drops with K-pop drops. Western drops maximize every frequency, creating a wall of sound. K-pop drops often include strategic gaps, creating breathing room within intensity. This is not just aesthetic preference, it is culturally embedded sonic epistemology. Act 4: The TikTok factor. Now let us address why this matters in 2024 and 2025. TikTok has fundamentally changed how music is consumed. Average clip length is 15 to 30 seconds. If your song does not have a memorable moment in the first 5 seconds, it fails. Silence creates those moments. When you are scrolling through dozens of clips, what makes you stop? Sudden silence does. Human attention has negativity bias. We notice absence more than presence. A sudden silence in a fast-scrolling feed creates a micro-moment of confusion that stops the scroll. K-pop producers design songs with TikTok in mind. They place high-impact silence moments in the first 30 seconds, knowing these will become viral clip points. This is not compromising artistry. This is understanding the medium. Marshall McLuhan said the medium is the message. In the TikTok era, the silence is the medium. Act 5: Technical analysis. Let me get technical for a moment. How do producers actually create these silences? Method 1: Automation muting. In DAW software like Logic or Ableton, producers draw automation curves that drop track volume to negative infinity at exact moments. This is not fade out, it is instant mute. Method 2: Sidechain ducking to silence. Some producers use sidechain compression, where an inaudible trigger track mutes all other tracks momentarily. This ensures perfect synchronization across all elements. Method 3: Arrangement gaps. The most organic method is simply not placing any MIDI notes or audio clips in that space. This requires confident production. Silence must be composed, not accidental. In K-pop production, silence is treated as seriously as any instrument. It has timing, duration, and placement. It is scored. Act 6: Case studies. Case study 1: New Jeans. OMG. OMG uses silence 7 times in 3 minutes 36 seconds. Average duration 0.9 seconds. The most effective silence appears at 2 minutes, 18 seconds, right before the final chorus. All instruments cut. 1.1 seconds of nothing. Then the drop. This moment became the most used TikTok clip from the song. Why? Because the silence creates a natural edit point. Users instinctively start their clips right after the silence, making the drop feel more impactful. Case study 2: aespa. Savage. Savage uses silence differently. Instead of complete gaps, it uses extreme filtering, where only sub-bass remains, creating perceived silence. At 1 minute 32 seconds, all mid and high frequencies disappear. Only a 40 Hz sine wave remains. Most smartphone speakers cannot reproduce this frequency, so mobile listeners experience it as silence. This is sophisticated sound design. The silence is frequency selective, platform aware. Case study 317, Super. Super demonstrates rhythmic silence. The silence does not align with bar divisions. It appears on unexpected subdivisions, creating syncopation through absence. This technique comes from glitch music and IDM influences. It treats silence as a rhythmic element, not just dramatic pause. Act 7: The global implication. Why does K-pop silence work globally when language barriers exist? Because silence is the only truly universal language in music. Melody requires cultural familiarity. Rhythm requires body memory. Harmony requires tonal system understanding. But silence requires nothing. The absence of sound is perceived identically across cultures. This is K-pop's genius. By weaponizing the most culturally neutral element, it bypasses the traditional barriers of global music success. Western artists are now copying this technique. Olivia Rodrigo's recent tracks include K-pop-style silence drops. The Weeknd's producers have incorporated strategic gaps. K-pop did not invent silence in music, but it industrialized it, systematized it, improved its commercial viability in the streaming era. So what have we learned? Silence in K-pop is not absence. It is presence designed as absence. It is not a musical rest. It is a psychological weapon. It is not emptiness. It is the most carefully produced element in the track. In an era of infinite content and fractured attention, the most powerful thing you can do is stop. K-pop producers understood this before the data proved it. They turned nothing into something, and that nothing is now dominating global charts. Next time you hear a K-pop track, pay attention to what is not there. Because in K-pop, the silence is louder than the sound.